Hello there, welcome back to the channel. Here we are on Wistril, and as you can see with the map there's a lot of trees in the centre, sort of a maze, but I think a lot of those parts are closed off. Doesn't look like you can get anywhere through it. You've got to go round it, which means that the paths through the jungle are pretty short, condensed. They are very easy for the players to wall off. And then on the outskirts of the map we've got a lot of water, but you can't really access it outside of T3 unless you manage to sort of carve your way through with your carbon workers. And in the water, a lot of islands with some extra resources, even some ore here tucked away on the other side. So plenty for the players to play with if it does go into the later game. And might want to lean into that water too, since the space around the bases, because of all these trees, is kind of limited. And getting into the teams of the players here, we have Hunter here in the cyan, or the teal in the Wookiees. On his team we've got Attack or Die here in the grey playing the Zan Consortium. We've got Granula here in the First Order in the yellow. And then we've got over here in the blue Bentokaya 4. And just checking to see if I had volume there, that was fine. Getting onto the Cados here, Bento. And then on the other side of things, got Team Arnie. So we've got Arnie here in the purple with the Rebel Alliance. Lucky Ashman here in the orange playing the Trade Federation. And Smoky Venus here, who I cannot see on the minimap, with the green, playing the Geonosians. And lastly, Constantine the 11th here in the red New Republic. And there are nerfs, it would seem. So likely some sort of Mountie aggression. Might be easy to wall the Mounties out quite early though. Maybe through some light walls and put some prefabs behind them. See what the players decide to do. Who's even on the wings? So it's up here. Ashman versus Bento, and Constantine versus Attack here. Flops to grab up. Candies to munch on, berries, mixed bag of food. I would expect a lot of the times for people to just wall on this map and just play around air to sort of traverse this very difficult terrain. And then you could of course maybe get a air transport, get out to the outskirts and get some shipyards placed down. Need to bring a power droid, because I don't think there would on average be any room for a power core. Doesn't really look like it overlaces the terrain or fails to add any trees there, so don't see any spots for a power core. Unless of course you landed on one of the islands, then you could place it there. Hopefully this ore doesn't bump his workers too much. Nice little tucked away area with all the Nova and the ore here for Arnie. And I'm not seeing any troop centres as I look around. And Bento here, he went for that food processor, no carbon processor. Lucky Ashman though, he's going to get his troop centre placed down here as the Trade Federation. So he has a much easier time getting that a little bit quicker. Doesn't have to build any prefab shelters. Could be a hindrance for a TF player on this map though. Have to rely on the light walls entirely. Have to maybe double or triple layer them. This wouldn't even be a bad map though for just going for some medium walls, maybe. Providing it doesn't slow down your tech time, because you don't want to get pinned with air. But it wouldn't be a huge investment to get a really strong wall off. Because look at this, it doesn't really look like there are paths. I don't know if it's intended that there are meant to be paths, but the way it looks is it's got sort of brain texture of just trees, and they're all fairly connected. The rebels leaning into their farms here, which they get the best out of. That troop centre is finished. We'll see if there's anything queued up in it. Mountie about to pop out here, sending that off to Bento's base here, who's only recently sort of fresh. They got this carbon processor and is now starting to farm, and this is going to be very difficult for them to deal with. Fortunately for them, the command center and the carbon is not too far away from one another, Bento immediately going to drop this troop centre here, and Lucky Ashman going to see that and start harassing the workers that are trying to build it. Bento might want to use the command centre's basic attack when he garrisons some workers to try and whittle down these Mounties. Getting completely knocked off the production here though, which is annoying. He's repairing some of the workers, making sure he doesn't lose them to the attrition here. And Lucky Ashman forced to relent a little bit there, move away from that command centre because it's taking too much damage. The other side of things, I do see a troop centre for attack. Nothing here at all for Constantine. And Bento does get his troop centre up. He's doing a pretty good job not losing any of these workers so far, and not letting it interrupt his economy completely. A lot of the workers still working. Let's get the power core down. And Ashman at almost at half health for both of these Mounties. There's a troop recruits being routed. That's interesting. It's quite a short distance too, and it could maybe get some damage here. However, I do rate that if Bento popped out a couple of trooper recruits, he could just repair them if they started trading with the enemy trooper recruit. But here he's going to knock him off of his berries here on the food processor, and that's going to be a problem. On the other side of things, I got attack here, running his Mounties into Constantine's base and just harassing the workers. Two workers do go down now, and a trooper recruit pops out, but it's going to immediately be jumped on by the Mounties and the troopers there. But not without cost, as Ashman does lose one of his mounted troopers. This is a bit of a struggle. Two out now though. I think if Bento could just repair his trooper recruits, he could win this like completely. And Ashman with some bad targeting there, gonna lose these and lose all that aggression. But he should have certainly pushed himself quite far ahead here. If we look at the difference in the farms that are placed between the two players, Ashman should sort of be winning there. I'm gonna go into the ore here. Maybe he's gonna make some turrets aggressively. Who knows? Or maybe lean into those medium walls. Attack constantly harassing the workers here of Constantine, who does have a troop centre, does hit T2 and does have a trooper recruit here, and almost got the Mountie sort of trapped here in this little glade. Could have done a little bit better and just walled himself in here though, and he wouldn't have had to deal with this at all. He is losing a couple of workers here at the ore. Not really looking at that just now as he deals with the aggression up here. And I don't think any of the pockets in this game have been harassed in any way. All quite happy. Smoky Venus has a lot of farms here. Like a very strong eco. He's about ready to go up, but what he could do is just buy some food. He's close now. So maybe a couple of seconds ago, and he could have gotten his tech time a little bit quicker. Attack popping in here, harassing with the Mountie. Smoky having a bit of a moment there getting the food. You can see the difference between him and Arnie. Arnie almost at T3. And power core just about to finish up there. Bento trying to push back onto his opponent here. But absolutely stranded in T1, so the damage is it's really messed up his build here. He's almost got the food to take up. I'm going to be dropping some light walls, but it could be pretty disastrous here if he starts getting any pressure from the pocket, which would be Arnie here, who's almost got both the air bases up now. Attack harassing Smoky here. Would be on Granuli to defend Bento here, but Granuli's only just hit T3. He seems to be a bit behind. Could be the difference of these rebel farmers. And Bento saying he needs some help soon. He's in trouble. He knows it. As these fighters start to rally across to Ashman. I'm probably going to make Ashman feel emboldened and want to push with his troopers. And this is not a good look when you're trapped in T1 for a fighter to hit your base. Your pocket only just freshly hit T3. Really getting a very quick anti-air turret here, but Arnie not really playing for him, just praying for harming his wing here. Really does get the shot off though, and now some bad micro there from Arnie. Loses both of those 2 for 1. So that is a relief here for Bento as he hits T2, and he will be able to start building anti-air troopers he has any sense. But the worker distribution just seems to be a little bit off. Way too much on food here. I mean, already got that 800 food basically, but needs to pull some of these workers off of here. And the trooper's going to get picked up quite easily here. On the other side of things, got some troopers from Constantine getting on top of attack here. Going to get a couple of workers. Well, attack very reliant on Hunter's air here to come and help him out. Should be able to kill that without loss. His troopers can't look up. Gernuli putting the pressure onto Ashman here, but is going to summon Arnie's Wrath as he comes across with a lot more fighters than Gernuli has. Gernuli forced to retreat, but does manage to land a couple of shots there and take down 2 of them. Might look to immediately put the pressure back onto Bento. Bento, who did say they would make anti-air, but it seems like that was a lie because I don't see any queued up for the last couple of minutes. Prioritizing their buildings right now. And a couple of Geos chasing fighters, that's not how it works. And as you can see, I was correct in that statement. They do die very easily here. And I do like the Geos though, I don't really see them getting used aggressively though. Sort of being rallied to defend the wing, which is just not good use of them. You want to attack to defend. So just put the pressure on these guys with the Geos and make them use their air to defend themselves. Otherwise, you're not really going to get a good result out of this. And Hunter here looking for some area to do damage here on Smokey's base. Good coverage though with this turret in this fortress. And one down here, but the Nova completely isolated, and unfortunately these workers will go down. There's an anti-airmobile that's popped out of Heavy Weapons Factory, but again, the DPS output, nothing compared to a turret. And it's not enough to save those workers. That's a lot of workers to die there, 7 or so. Arnie continuing to pressure here. Don't know if there's maybe a trade between him and Granuli that we've missed, but the numbers of fighters for both players looking quite low. But at the end of it, Bento is still suffering here. Not quite pressed the button. Should be ready to now though. Got both the buildings here. Got the allotted food and Nova. Just need to press it, but queues up 2 workers instead. Okay. Then cancels them, then goes for T3. Classic move. Absolutely vintage gameplay right there. And Arnie popping back in again with these fighters, looking to do more and more damage. Just trying to attack Granuli through Bento, keep Bento down, and hope that the Ashman here will be his big differential. And that he can push through here and apply pressure, and then later maybe apply that to Granuli. On the other side of things, got the scout harassing the AA-mobile here. Has to die to Geo. It's going to be really hard for me to catch any green Geos on this map, that's for sure, but looking at it, it does look like they've got a lot of turrets and anti-air in place. And Hunter here has got his own air to defend. And it's sort of just that's really horrible, right? It's just flying in the same trajectory too. Need to be sly, need to go around the outside of the map. Go wider, find the angles. But lucky break for Hunter to catch both of those. Smokey is just completely phased out of having any sort of air presence, basically. Constantine manages to get himself up to T3 just before Bento here. So Bento's still last. Constantine looking pretty solid though. Good sort of base layout. A lot of farms. A healthy sort of T2 economy. Bit healthier than Bento's. Bento's a little bit missing a few workers that have been lost. And Hunter looking for something to do with his air here. A lot of anti-air troopers here. Sort of a big deterrence for him going for Constantine. And then when he tries to hit Smokey, Smokey's got tons of turrets, and the A-mobile too, and the fortress. Does come in and get a couple of workers, but he's losing fighters too. And Gernuli managing to make it sort of past the air line of Arnie here, and Arnie looks like he's almost sort of chasing Hunter at the moment and trying to wipe this air out. Looks like they might collide with the angles that they're going here. Hunter on a move command at the moment, that's not very good, and Arnie going to clean that up with basically no losses. That's a pretty bad time there. But this will embolden Granuli to move in and try and do some damage. Unfortunately for Granuli though, there is a lot of fighters here on defense too. Doesn't look like Arnie's really stopped making the production of his fighters at all. And Arnie looks like he's ready to almost push the button here. It's about 30 minutes, which is the usual sort of time. And he's going to manage to flank all of those fighters from Granuli while basically not losing too many of his own. It's going to be a really healthy count to go up to T4. We can see that queued up here now. And Team Granuli and Hunter are going to have a problem coming their way soonish. But it looks like Hunter did get off to T4. Unfortunately, did lose all of his fighters though, so he has to rebuild them. He's just not going to have the same economy as Arnie. And Arnie is going to be quite well pressed to handle his air, I think. Being Rebels, really strong Air Force, and does have those better interceptors too. And when he gets up to T4, all he really needs to do is upgrade these guys. And he's going to take this time though, while waiting to go up there to put the pressure on Granuli and get some kills on the workers. Keep his air fighters count at practically 0. But yeah, he'll just need to get fast fighter shields, and then he could maybe start building interceptors if he wants as well. To sort of deal with the air from Hunter as he applies pressure to the other side. A few going down here though. I think maybe 8 fighters or so lost for Arnie there, but he does have about that at home. So still a very healthy total. An interesting little army here from the mighty Constantine the 11th. Looking for some sort of angle into attack space here, but a lot of walls. And walls using all sorts of different types of wall too. We've got light wall, medium wall, prefab wall. All the walls here at Attack's Wall Emporium. And both hitting T4 at the same time, Arnie just slightly quicker. And Granuli, managing to get himself up around the same time too, so it'll be very helpful for him to get his advanced turrets here. But difficult for him to do something to contribute for a little while. This map's not very good on the old the ground civs, if you know what I mean, because of the terrain and the walls and stuff. It's going to favour the fast T4 antics for a little bit. So you're really going to struggle for some space to get stuff down. He's going to build some turrets for his wing here, which is a good move. You see Arnie is going to making it across and actually leaning into the bombers, which that's a little bit ambitious, I think. See, there's a lot of anti-air troopers here, and these guys don't have shields yet, and he's taken quite a few losses, and that turret, advanced turrets are up here. See, the bombers are... It's too early. They need a lot of upgrades too. I worry if you're going to make bombers, but then you've got to fight another air guy, and then you have to worry about Granuli intervening. He's made some interceptors too. They could sort of gang up on Arnie. And Arnie, looks like he's hunting for the air of Hunter. He kind of wants to shut that down so he can focus on his side again. And over-patrolling a bit here as he goes into Smoky Venus's base, and once again we see Geos try to fight the fighters in the air and it not work out. What is the definition of insanity? You tell me. And these fast fighters do have armor. No armor for Arnie, but he's got Hunter running away right now. And Hunter doesn't seem keen to take that trade, but he does get a good arc there, turns right round and gets a few of those fighters. And escapes on the sort of re-patrol there from Arnie. And he's keeping Arnie pressed right now, which is letting Granuli get set up here on this side. And that could pose a problem here for Ashman, because he's not going to be as well boomed as Granuli here. And Arnie would have really liked to just keep control of that side while he gets his economy in place and he can work out some other things to make from rebels, and they're going to collide here. A few interceptors helping out, but ultimately Arnie is going to clean that up quite easily. He did get his armor before that fight too. You can see Granuli's got a little bit of an air force here. Finds these bombers from Arnie. And on the other side of things, it's attacks walled Constantine's army in. Those bombers do get cleaned up. And I'm going to need Ashman to sort of pull through and get some forts down or some units out or something here to sort of stall. He's really going to start pumping out some artillery and getting those troop centres down. Going to be first order, so probably 8 repeaters and heavy artillery would be the sort of bread and butter of that civ. And Hunter here going to kill this army that's basically sitting ducks trapped in this walled area. And see a fort from attack, but a couple of strike mechs here. The second fortress is going to go down, fighting over this Nova. Arnie sneaking around the back, looking for some angles to do some damage. If he's maybe looking for any use of the islands. Kind of forgot about that. I do see Smokey did land here. Get some shipyards placed with a power droid. Let's get that secret economy going. Don't think anyone's really looked for them there. He's like the only occupant here. Don't see anyone else. They're still putting the pressure on with this air. And it looks like Arnie's maybe just going to leave his air patrolling here, making sure they don't get onto those islands. Got some interceptors here, but they can't look down, can't deal with these artillery. And just going to go into the standard, going into the Mounties off of the air eco. Food at Nova all the same, so always good. Doesn't take too many upgrades. And Rebels get some really bulky mounted troopers with all the upgrades that they've got for the troopers. They're looking for more damage here into turrets and batteries, but Smokey, is he T4? He is T4, just doesn't have his advanced turrets yet. But they are starting to whittle down because there's quite a lot of batteries shooting at them now. To transition as Wookiees, some heavy weapons down, a couple of troop centres once they go into the same sort of thing like Bernoulli would with troopers and their artillery. But you can see how much quicker these Mounties have managed to get online here, and they surge forward. They're going to kill off the power core. And this is kind of just the strength of the air civ here early on in T4. It's kind of where they dominate. Because if you're playing another type of civ without, strike mech, you can't really deal with this all the same. It's very hard for you to go from air to, straight into trooper artillery. Could have maybe tried to keep the air to keep the Mounties off of them, but either way, these are just surging forward. And lucky Ashman with some destroyer droids here, getting a cannon involved too. And they're going to start carving through. They're going to take down that wall very quickly for Bento and just surge into his base. And he's had a very hard game so far and not really ready to contribute yet. Trying to get a fortress up here desperately, but pummels and cannons, destroyer droids and Mounties, a lot of stuff that does good damage to buildings. Even the destroyer droids have got good flat damage. But there's a lot of pressure here from attack and Hunter here. Got 11 range on the artillery already, up to heavy artillery. Repeater troopers out, full health. Just don't have their damage upgrades yet, only at 6 flat damage. And cannons here from attack, and a few mechs. There's a lot of pressure. Smokey and Constantine here, not too ready. There's a few mechs assembling in the farmlands of Constantine. This is really hard though to get pushed into this spot because there's not too much space for you to build in, and then you're losing this area where you're farming. That's going to really suck. It's going to take a lot to come back from that. And some troopers trying to pop out here for Bernoulli, but they're sort of getting spawn killed by the destroyer droids and the mounted troopers here. And again, like, where's the space to get some new buildings down and pump out some units to then go and, rescue this area? It's really difficult. And Bento, bless him, trying to repair the fortress here, but got 3 pummels. Did pump out a Magna Guard, though, that's actually doing some good work here. See that DPS output? It's starting to slap away at the pummels. He's going to use up all his ore defending that, I think. And then on the other side of things, the artillery getting onto this nice hill here. Still 11 range though. Could be a ban from the Discord if we go another... Oh, there we go. He's up to 12. He knows the rules. Gotta get that 12 range artillery. And the bug assault mechs pushing through here, but not shooting at the right units, and they're now going to start getting lit up by the mech destroyers. Heavy mech destroyers too. A lot of damage they're going to take there. Units getting messed up a little bit by that anti-airmobile with their positioning. That shield generator may be a little bit too ambitious here from Hunter. There's not too many units here at frontline. The artillery are going to have to pull back, I think. A lot of mech coming out here from both these players. And Arnie nearly encroaching into the base of Granuli here, but Granuli has pumped out a lot of troopers here, repeater troopers with 60 health, with +4 damage, and they're going to push these Mounties out of the base now. Maybe have to do a bit of a tech switch now. It's been a lot of time though. Arnie should have really sorted out his economy. He's got the spaceports down, maybe get the trade online, but the trade would be kind of threatened. I think if they want to trade, they're going to have to find a way to like do it over here maybe. Maybe like mass build them over here and get some spaceports like tucked away on these islands or something. Because it ain't going to be safe to go down like this way. Or they could alternatively maybe build it up here if they've still got control of this area. And Bento's lands are liberated for the time being. There's some strike mechs, heavy strike mechs popping in here from Ashman. Making good use of the TF Civ. And we've got a lot more units here for attack and hunter. Maybe just need to pull everything to the front here, get some new shield generators down and they can really push. There's no assault mechs anymore, it's just some Geonosian mech. A few New Republic ones, some anti-air troopers. Not the strongest, not really any good answers for 12 range artillery, that's for sure. Certainly be a good map to maybe be leaning into the air cruisers and stuff. Really got a lot of troopers here pushing up against Arnie. Arnie will have the edge, I think, just with the health pool, like 75. These guys do shoot faster, but I'm not sure the exact metric. I would have thought health would probably be better all around though. But I think shields are going to be absolutely mandatory, I would say, for Granuli. It might be that if you double the health of these over time, they're going to pay off a lot better than the health of the rebel ones. And some attackers here, so a bit of a cross map from Hunter here helping out. Make sure this side does not crumble so quickly, but Arnie got some interceptors there to support his forces. And these destroyer droids are doing quite well, tanking a lot of the shots here, and they do very good damage to troopers. Need some grenadiers to take these down quickly. They don't have any armour though, so they are actually going down quite quickly, to be honest, to the repeaters. But again, they bought a bit of time there for them to get this shield generator down and for Arnie to pump out more troopers again. Because there's a bit of a lapse in the production there. And some Mounties menacingly waiting to maybe run in when they get the opportunity. I feel like I heard masters. There's two there. So who's our master boy? Constantine here. I'll have to go to his camera so I can actually see them because they are on the invisibility. And should help here if we could take away some of these artillery, maybe the cannons, but this is a very strong force. It's probably the most mech I've ever seen in my life out of Attack or Die. He's a new man. And it's going to be a lot of DPS output from all these artillery. The Wookiee troopers still missing +2 damage. They're getting there though. Bento Kaya pumping out the medics here to try and heal these troopers. And Viva La Mexico, assault mech popping out here from the rebels. Quite good in this instance since he's not made any grenadiers though. Bit of extra bonus damage. Smash these troopers down. Not really much to police any cannons from Arnie's side if he wants to knock down this turret. I think the best thing that he could be making though would just be like an air cruiser. Because then you could just wipe out all the troopers in one shot and then push in that moment. Assault mechs sort of do the same thing, but you will just make some grenadiers, right? The ACs are a lot harder to police with the terrain and the very few angles. You're kind of just direct fight in these small patches of area. There's so many medics here, just Don't know if they're doing well or they're just being a hindrance with where they're standing. They don't seem to be going down though. Maybe they don't get prioritised by these units when they're targeting. Unless all the military units are dead. And between the masters and the artillery, these two guys are trying to stall as much as possible on this side, but a lot of this base is dead. Constantine basically doesn't exist in this area anymore. He's moved over into this little clove here. He's got one holocron in his Jedi temple. But he can be quite effective with so little units, being a Jedi Civ. You know, just convert the right things and you can stay quite relevant in the game. Since they're such a strong support tool. Ashmen being super on the ball here with these heavy strike mechs. They're a superly effective hindrance against First Order here when we're really relying on these troopers. The same with the assault mechs too. These attackers coming in. There are interceptors ready from Arnie if the attackers try to like patrol into the army. But the turrets do have some good range, right? 11 plus 3, 14 range here. I think don't First Order get like an extra range with one of their upgrades? I don't know if he's got it though. We must investigate. Where is he? Before I get scathing comments from the devs about how everything is. Actually, I think you'll find it's advanced torpedoes. And yes, it's +1 range for anti-air missile units and structures, but he doesn't have it yet. So might want to get that one. Pretty strong into rebels when they want to use those support tools. Really mess with people's minds too if they're trying to abuse ACs and then you've got that extra range that'll really bamboozle them a bit. A lot of gotcha moments. And I'm trying to click Constantine and failing there. Constantine converting as much as he can. These guys definitely need to make some ACs though, I think. Like Zan's got really good mech, but they don't get all the HP upgrades, so they are a little bit brittle when it comes to taking big area of effect damage. And the same with the Wookiee artillery too, they only get that 120 health. I have to like keep fact checking it. I don't know if he's actually gotten it though, is he? I thought they only got one of these, so maybe they do get two. I thought they only got one of those upgrades in vanilla. But he doesn't have any of his HP upgrades, that's for sure. And the damage pumping out here. And those Mounties are been sitting there for a while. Looks like Bento did notice and he's been building prefabs to relayer this wall. Mounties will go through that quite quickly though, with that +4 damage. And Arnie's definitely getting somewhere, but he's not getting anywhere at the same rate as attacking Hunter. I've just got such a large, you know, very complementary army here, mostly. It's only really just weak to like air. Like if Arnie did make like 40 attackers and patrol into this, he'd smash it for sure, right? But he's got to be hyper focused here, and he almost feels the need to push through this side quicker than they're pushing here, but ain't looking great. Yeah, oh yeah, Smokey can do that as well. It's Geos, they got shields now, right? Attackers are really the big solution here to this army. Because everything on the ground, they got covered pretty well. And the purple Mexican rebels continuing to push through here. Heavy assault mechs now. Don't get any of the health upgrades, but they got that full damage. So providing there isn't any good counters on the ground for them, they're doing quite well. And this is so many Wookiee artillery here. Oh, a couple of ACs. Missed that. That was a bad shot though. Needs to put them on no attack stance. And That's a good shot though. Look how much. See how. Look at the health. Oh. Bam. That's really nice. Like, that's super. That's just like a big sigh of relief for Team Arnie here. And they did get their trade set up. Look at that. It's looking nice. Right up against the edge here. You can almost split the map this way now. And Hunter again here with some interceptors and some of these attackers. Trying to clean things up here, but it's just not an awful lot. Pumping out the artillery here, but there's nothing on the ground to defend them right now. Gridley's not really got anything. He's still got troop centers and stuff, but I'm not seeing like any units, and he's just getting absolutely smashed with his heavy strike mech too. Hunter trying to tell him to build a shield wall or something now, but difficult when like all the space is occupied by your farms and that. Be rebuilding their forces here. The ACs are still alive. It's not like they've taken them out. I mean, Hunter's putting a lot of tension over at this side, and I don't know. These Grens are going to get some good shots, right? Must have tracking and all that. Bam! It's so nice to watch. Okay, Ashman can lose a lot of these. He's not stopped the fire at them either. But there he goes. He notices. Arnie's continue to march through here. Hunter attack. Not really as big armies as they did before, though. Hunter is rebuilding his, but attack not so much. I'm not seeing a lot pumping out from him. He's putting the production buildings down, but he does need to build out of them. Last game I watched of him, he made like tons and tons of the production buildings, but nothing came out of them. We've got more AC shots landing here, going to delete half of that army. Not really anything on the ground to hit them. These ACs are just doing what they want right now. They got some Jedi as well, being annoying, attracting the wrath of these bounty hunters, but Arnie still pushing through on this side. Ashman not being super helpful at the moment, just running sort of strike mechs around. He needs to get some other units here as well. I think maybe help Arnie do some sieging here. He's trying to run into the eco. They're trying to get some walls down. There's a lot of mech destroyers sort of waiting for him though. This area is sort of already conquered for them. We'd like to see Ashman get some cannons out and just help Arnie in that way. Because they got a lot of buildings to kill. Like, the trade's over here, so it's not like... Neither team can really get the trade right on this map. It's kind of interesting. A nice sort of dynamic to this map, I suppose. Because of that tree line. There's no other way to get to the trade. If things go the way they've gone, they've sort of just split the map in that way. And island status check. Absolutely untouched for these guys here. There's so much it's actually insane they've not done that. I could really help some of the players in this team, maybe the ones that don't have trade set up. Like, you just land. At least one of your players should probably just go on those islands and just munch all that Nova. That way you can save a lot of population for units and stuff. Then just get on the trade later if need be. Shield wall is up, but not really at shields. And there are a few cannons here, and cannons are pretty much the best solution to the shield wall. But it is going to stall for a little bit here. But some of these are not actually built. And you probably want multiple layers on this. Like a assault mech cannon could probably get through this fairly quickly. And still a lot of resistance on this side. I don't mean the Civ, I mean these guys fighting against Attack and Hunter here. And we've got a lot of attrition hitting these armies. And it's quite a wide arc that they're fighting in right now as well, not really focused on anything. And because of that, it makes a lot of angles for the Masters to come in from the side and swipe away any cannons. And Ashman actually sending his strike mechs around this way. I don't know if he was maybe trying to get through on this side and the wall stopped him. That's most likely the answer. And I'd like to see Cornelia get some units out. He's on holiday at the moment. He's got nothing. Bento Kaya just got defeated after saying the wall's about to break. Rest in peace, Bento Kaya. Or Bento Kaja, I don't know. But Bento's gone, guys. He's gone. The blue Bento. R.I.P. Got an F in the chat for him there. RIP. And Hunter's saying it's GG. Struggling to get through here. And these ACs, look how many have built up here for Big Smoky Venus. He's taking a bit of damage from this. I mean, I'm going to be honest, I didn't know that was a heavy anti-airmobile. I'd get caught off guard by that. It looked like a mech transport thing or whatever. Transport mech. But where are they? Yeah, that's not an obvious AA mobile to me. Gonna come in for some more AC shots. Probably gonna make Hunter resign here. If he's just said it's GG and then loses a lot of units. Does get right on top of them in the interceptors here though. But there are some here from Big Constantine. And oh my god, look at the attackers. He's really rebuilt himself here. He's back in the game, got his trade set up. He's ready to fight and they're gonna call GG off of that. Arnie's still getting through here, unstoppable really. Granulli, it looks like Granulli sort of gave up making units a while ago. And of course Bento got defeated. There's only so much these guys on this side can do, because it's a pretty good resistance that was put up here by Smokey and Constantine. Attack historically always taken 6,000 years to resign after his teammates, and there we go, it's GG. So, GG well played to all the people involved in that, and if you like the content, please consider liking the video, subscribe to the channel if you want to see more of this stuff. That's what you need to do. If you want to get involved in the games that we play here, you can join our GBG Discord, which you'll find the server invite down below in the description field. You'll find one for the Expanding Fronts mods Discord, which is the mod that we're playing here, which is like an expanded edition for the game. You'll find Voobly.com, where you can play this online. And if you want to support the channel another way, maybe buy me a coffee. There's PayPal link down below in the description, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care, bye bye.